Let's make some noise. Come on.
Right, indeedy, Nick Foles. Thank you again. Thank you for that rousing introduction. And listen, D, let's make some noise. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy MattyB on the call. It is the first night of the rest of your life. Now, first night of our new broadcasting week, and we are at the 9 o'clock hour. Ooh, it's weird down here. Make it stop. We have switched officially to our winter hours. 9 o'clock will be now when we come at you every Sunday through Thursday to provide you my takes on the takes of what's happening in the Philadelphia and the sports world in general. I do not limit myself to just Philly. Joe Hale checks in. Joe, how are you doing tonight? Hope your weekend was fandango-tabulous. It's great to be back. We have a sort of a full week ahead of us. I do think I have post-game duties on Tuesday, so there will be no final word Tuesday, but Monday, or tonight, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we should still be doing some final wording. But, we're going to have to navigate a whole different world because now we're coming on before post-game shows. So I got to make sure that I provide the other hosts their opportunities. So maybe, I'm not going to get off the air if the conversations kick in and we're doing what we got to do, but I have to keep an eye on that. And tonight will be the first test of that because the Flyers are in action as we speak. Getting ready to start the third period down there at the arena, trailing 1-0 to the Calgary Flames. And I totally forgot that Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee still played for Calgary until I saw them here tonight. I was like, well, that's right. Yeah, they still play for them. So that tells you the impact that Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee have had of the hockey world since they've left here. Just about the great of the impact they had when they were here, which was minimum to zero. But so, yeah, we got Flyers action happening right now. And the Clear the Ice program will follow this show. It's weird to have to say that a postgame show is coming on after me. But the Clear the Ice program will be seen tonight in its entirety. Nice. Good God, man. Thought I had everything ready. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't have the graphic up, but that's right. I got rid of it because I typically don't come on before post games, but Mike Lara will have you tonight. And then this is the Clear the Ice for the rest of the week. Again, I'll have you Tuesday. Mike will have you Thursday, and I will have you again on Saturday. That is our Clear the Ice schedule for the week. And this is our weekend and a glance of the network. Busy day today. And I'm not bringing up the rear. Wow. That's right. I'm batting eighth tonight. And Mike Lara will finish everything off here with the Flyers and the Clear the Ice. Tomorrow, just be me. On Tuesday, it's props, locks, and parlays and some Flyers and Clearing the Ice. Wednesdays, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and some final word. Back to our busy Thursdays as the Birds Blast will return, as we'll get you ready for the Green Bay Packer game. And we will recap one last time the Giants game. Me and Kyle Quinn, the Gridiron Weekly. Me, and then the Predators and Flyers wrapping up the tilt on Thursday. Nothing on Friday, and on Saturday we got the Flyers and Senators post game. So there you have it. There's our weekend at glance of the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Tonight, MattyB, is there a Penn State show? There is not on Saturday, so Mike's got something he's got to do. So the Happy Valley Huddle Penn State Indiana edition will be seen next Tuesday, Veterans Day, the Tuesday after the game. So I'm sorry. Nothing I could do about that. Nobody else has the courage to step in and do a Penn State postgame show other than Mike. So we got to let Mike roll with it. But Mike will have it for you on Tuesday, November 10th, I believe is the date. So make sure you clear that on your calendar there, Joe Hale. We got a busy night. We're going to recap what's going down. Quiet day here in Philadelphia. No Eagles football, no problem. Got Flyers hockey. We got some Flyers hockey this weekend. We got the World Series to talk about, folks. The dawn of the Dodger dynasty is here. Amazing series. Really just incredible baseball over the past week and a half between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. And I said on this morning when I was a guest host on the PNM and the AM program that there's a reason why the Phillies are sitting at home. It's because they just would not have been able to cut it going the rest of the way. And watching the Dodgers and Blue Jays go back and forth over 7 games, was just an amazing thing. Great baseball. It's the reason why you like baseball. But I'm not sure the Phillies could have hung. I really don't. I don't really think they can hang with the Dodgers or the Blue Jays. So we'll recap some World Series. We'll talk Jair Alexander. The Eagles are trading some more players down to 9 draft picks now for 2026 as the reconstruction project of the Eagles secondary continues into the season. Is this it? Is the Myles Garrett stuff on the back burner? Or are we still waiting for one more trade? I think Tuesday is the trade deadline. Is how we're going to make another move. We'll talk about some of the happenings around the NFL today as well. We got our day in Philadelphia sports history, and we got our card review and of the night segment. All that tied up in a pretty bow here on the final word at our new 9 o'clock hour. It's weird to be down here so early. I don't like it. It's gonna take some time for me to grow at 9 o'clock. Today is a win. Is it a win for who? Star Wars? Give me who's winning today. I want to see it back. It was fun to go down there. I don't think I've ever been. That was the first time I was ever on PM in the AM ever in my life. And there was, Mike was going on alone today, so I jumped in last minute and said, hey, if you want me to come on, I will. And he did, so I did, and it was fun. But before we do get rolling, because we got a lot to get into, but I do want to make an announcement here on the program, on the network. Football update. Well, look who's number one in the entire NFC, my Philly Eagles squad, and we didn't even play. We're better even when we don't play. Star Wars got a point. Sometimes you make up some ground in the bye week. And Star Wars, we're going to get into your Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to discuss, are they ready? Are they ready for the run? The run to the Super Bowl, which starts next Monday night. The season for the Eagles starts Monday with the Packers. And is this team ready and able and willing to make it back to the Super Bowl? We'll get into some of the pros and the cons of why I don't think they are and also why I do think they are. So we'll have a healthy discussion about that. Ricky Deal checks in. Ricky got a new Eagles jersey today for my birthday. Outstanding, Ricky. What number? Whose jersey did you get? Tomorrow, can you open the phone lines? I probably can open the phone lines tonight. There, Joe Hale. I don't, limit me till tomorrow. Ryan Swope checks in. Ryan, welcome to the 9 o'clock final word, our new time on Sundays through Thursdays. So before I do get into some of the happenings on the show, I do have to make an announcement, a PSA, if you will, an update. After some much deliberation and thought, it is my regret that I have to make the following announcement. Pat Bernard, the Gobbler, will no longer be on our airwaves for the foreseeable future. We're just having too many technical problems right now. Pat's having some major issues trying to broadcast cleanly, a lot of outside noise, so to speak. And I had to make a decision, and I had to make a decision about that. And so today I informed Pat that he was going to have to come off the air until such a time that he can work that out. Now, Pat is not off the network. Pat will be doing some behind-the-scenes work for us, maybe in our social media where we need a lot of help because nobody does that. No one runs that. So we're going to try to find another spot for Pat here within the network while he kind of goes through this. This is not a hiatus. This is a removal from the airways because, again, just technically it's just not been good. And Pat's the first one to admit that. Yeah, I mean, he didn't fight me at all on it. He agreed that it just hasn't looked professional. It has nothing to do with Pat's content or Pat's personality or the way Pat carries himself or what Pat does. Pat is an amazing person. He's been a great friend of me and this network. And, even before the network, I've known Pat for 3 years now. And, when I started the journey of It's a Wrap, Pat was definitely, one of the people I wanted to go on the journey with. And that hasn't changed. But I just can't, in good conscience, let this go any further. The technology issue has been a major issue, and we're gonna pull Pat off, put him behind the scenes, and he's gonna work on some things for us until we can kind of revisit the show stuff later on. There is no timeline for this. This is a semi-permanent move. It's nothing's permanent, but we're gonna make that pivot here starting today. So that means the properties that Pat owns, show-wise, the PNM and the AM and the Attacking Third will also be removed from this network. But hang on, by name only. We are going to rebrand both programs, relaunch them as soon as possible. Right now, we're going to have a meeting on Wednesday, me and the powers that be, and we're going to discuss the way ahead, what we're going to do, especially with those two programs, because those are the properties of Pat. And for, to be fair, he's not on the air, so we're going to pull him. We're going to pull the names of his shows. We're not necessarily pulling the shows. We're going to relaunch them and rebrand them. So some updates for that will be forthcoming. As far as the wraparound goes, the wraparound will probably, again, this is going to be discussed this week, but the wraparound will probably go on the shelf until Big Al will take it in December, which was our plan all along. The Sixers postgame get processed again will probably also get up on the shelf because nobody wants to take that bad boy over, and I don't blame them. So we're going to put that on the shelf until we can find someone that will take that full time. And what else am I forgetting here? He had his hands in so much. Clear the ice duties will fall primarily on me and Mike for the rest of the season. We will reconfigure it when we get to the spring about the Fightins final. So, it's not. This was something that this was the decision that I came to not easily. This was something I labored over for about a week, and today I called Pat up and informed him. And again, to Pat's a testament to Pat was he didn't fight me at all on it. He agreed and he recognized the situation himself. To be completely transparent, I didn't even offer him. I didn't even think to offer him something like lesser, but he volunteered for it because he wants to be part of this, and it speaks a lot for Pat's character, and I appreciate that. And of course, I took him up on the offer 1,000%. So Pat Bernard will be leaving the airwaves. Time effective right now. We are going to rebrand, rename the Attacking Third and the PNM and the AM programs. Names to be announced at a later time. Hopefully, at some point at the end of the week. I don't want to miss a beat with the PNM program. Now, Steve Fuentes is also on hiatus due to a personal issue. He's going to be part of the meeting as we discuss what to do with the Attacking Third. So, we're going to try to come back with it. Again, Steve's dealing with some personal issues, and I am not going to, push him along. He'll take as much time as he needs until he can come back. So we'll go from there. But I just wanted to make that announcement. I wanted to let everybody out there know that this is what's happening with the network and with Pat. And as we move forward, there is no bad blood. Pat is still part of this network, just in a different capacity. So there's my PSA for the night. You got MattyB all serious. Now I can get back to being fun. What's up, Brian? 9 officials. It is 9 o'clock as of tonight. As of tonight, we are now on 9 o'clock Sundays through Thursday, probably until about April time frame. Ricky Teal got number 11. Not Carson Wentz, right? A.J. Brown? I don't know, Ricky. You got to be careful with A.J. Brown. I don't know, man. Could A.J. Brown be traded in the next 48 hours? Is A.J. Brown short for this world anyway with the Eagles? Is he potentially on his last tour with the Philadelphia Eagles? Got to be careful with those. You know what, Ricky? And I don't know. Did you get Brown put on the back of it? Is his name on it too? I own a couple Eagles jerseys. I own a Nick Foles Super Bowl jersey. I own a Donovan McNabb jersey. And I also own a MattyB jersey. I have my name on a jersey because obviously, excuse me, unless you're dealing with an all-time player like a McNabb, you got to be careful with that stuff, man. You got to be careful with that stuff. But number 11 is what Ricky Deal's rocking. Hopefully it's not Carson Wentz. We will be getting very determined Packers squad next Monday night, especially since they lost to the Panthers. Yeah, we're going to get into some scores, little upsets today here in the NFL world. Studios. What about studios? Official studio? What are you talking about? Penn State football sucks now. You said it, brother. Are you guys going to host MLB Hot Stove Reports? I will do a Hot Stove segment on this show. That'll start, as we get into the offseason. I did one last year. Matter of fact, I got a pretty little intro graphic for it. Think about it. It's just like a segment that we do, just like the card review and all that. That'll be incorporated into our program or into this program starting Wednesday, I guess, or I guess tomorrow officially, right? Tomorrow is when they can start signing their own free agents. And Wednesday is when the trades and the open-ended free agency begins in MLB again. But yeah, I will do a hot stove report. I can tell you that much. 100% I will do that. Matter of fact, for your shows. So we don't operate out of an official studio. Now, I'm not Diamond Jim Brady over here, Ryan. We're still very, very young in our development phase. And we all operate out of the home studios that we have. And I would like to one day have the It's a Wrap studios high above the Tasty Cake building on 12th and Market Street. Absolutely. With my feet kicked up on a chair or a desk, doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely. Would I love that one day. But right now, unfortunately, we are still very much in the infancy of our network. Now, the intent has always been to someday do this 365, 12 months out of the year. That's always been the intent. And hopefully, but that road we're just starting down that road. And so right now we're all broadcasting from our own little nooks in the world. So broadcast can be without. Yeah, again, I agree. And ultimately that would be what we would do, but that costs money that I don't have. And right now it is part of the mystique of the network is that you're operating out of your own. And listen, as far as what the situation with Pat is, it's a purely operating platform problem. It's not internet. He's got internet. He just got to update his operating systems, and that ain't cheap, and I get that. So Pat's going to work on that, and he's going to work on getting back on the air. The door is open. The door is never closed. I'm not doing that to him, but right now it just ain't going to work. It just won't work, and I can't continue to put him in that position, for God's sakes, and to put me in that position, and to put you, the listening public, into that position. Again, it's not his takes, not his opinions. He's really good at what he does. It's purely his presentation, if that makes any sense. All right, let's get into our day in Philadelphia sports because we're running low at 20 minutes and me talking about nothing. Let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And on this day back in 1998, losing 34-0 to the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles became the first team in NFL history to be shut out at home twice in one season by 30 points or more. The other was an opening day loss, 38-0 to the Seattle Seahawks. The epic blankings occurred for two of the franchise record 13 losses for the Birds in 1998. A dreadful season across the board for all you old heads out there that remember the 98 season. If not, I'll refresh your memory. Ray Rhodes' final year here. The Bobby Hoying experiment. In 3 words, the Bobby Hoying experiment just wasn't working, and it was a dreadfully long season. It was the season that was also infamous for, I think it was a week 3 or week 2 game where they went to Denver and they lost like 56-17. And John Madden and Pat Summerall were calling the game. And after the game, John Madden told CBS, "Don't ever put me on an Eagles game ever again until I tell you." That's how bad it was that John Madden demanded never to be anything to do with the Eagles after that game. And I think it was an early season, like week 2 or week 3 game. And it got so bad in that game. You know when it's bad when John Madden's calling a game, when he starts talking about what's happening in the stands. And by the second quarter, he was doing that. And you just knew it wasn't going to be well. And so 98 was a terrible season. And I believe, if memory serves correct, they actually got shut out again towards the end of the season at home. To actually to continue to build the record of being shut out 3 times at home by 30 or more points. So a terrible season in 98. And on this night back in 98, the Eagles set a record by being shut out. The only team to be shut out twice at home by 30 or more points in NFL history. So there you go. There's your day in Philadelphia sports history. And that was brought to you by the great folks here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, purveyors of such programming as the props, locks, and parlays. Every Tuesday night at 8, Mike Lotto will give you his takes on his, for entertainment purposes only, of course, sports betting. He will tell you what's going on, what you should go with, and what you shouldn't on the locks, props, and parlay program. Check him out. It's free. It's free. Let's get back into this. Here we go. I got an A.J. Brown Eagles jersey. Yeah, so Ricky Deal popped the coin for an A.J. Brown jersey. Ricky, I pray and I hope that he doesn't get traded between now and Tuesday, which I don't think he will. The Eagles did complete a trade, though, this weekend. Jair Alexander is now coming to the Eagles from the Baltimore Ravens. When I first heard it, I was instantly sent back in time in my DeLorean, and I was like, oh, is it 2022? That's what I'm talking about. But alas, it is not 2022, and this is not the 2022 Jair Alexander. This is the 2025 Jair Alexander, who's been a healthy scratch for the last 5 games and seemingly did not fit anywhere into the scheme over in Baltimore, which is amazing, seeing how Baltimore was getting gashed up and down the field defensively. So now Jair Alexander will bring his wares here. It cost us a 6th-round draft pick. We are down now to 9. We started out the season with 13 draft picks in 2026. That number's been reduced down to 9 as Howie Roseman continues to try to build the defense in season. And I brought the point up this morning on the PNM and the AM program. Howie Roseman failed the Philadelphia Eagles in the offseason. Howie Roseman's plan for the defense has been a failure. And you can try to tell me it's old-fashioned Howie hating, blah, blah, blah. I just hate the guy. Well, that's fine. But after you tell me that, clear out your eyes and look at what's been going on with the defense. Obviously, we added 3 new defensive pieces over the past 10 days. 2 cornerbacks and a retread defensive lineman. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of work. That's a lot of retooling to a defensive unit, to one unit, to add 3 new pieces. And yes, Brandon Graham is a new piece, but to add 3 new pieces over the last 10 days, that constitutes a major overhaul. It does. 1, 2, but when you now added 3, how else can this be taken other than the plan in the offseason was wrong? It was the wrong plan to let go all the 6 contributors that you did, try to replace them with free agents of the lower level, like Class B type free agents, and expect your draft picks to step up where they have not stepped up before. And now here we go down the stretch run. The most important part of this season starts Monday, and we're trying to rebuild the defense. Now, Cooper DeJean, is he still going outside? That's the question I want to know. Are the Eagles going to turn over CB2 to Jair Alexander and his scratched last 5 games for health reasons or for not health reasons? Or is Cooper DeJean going out? They're going to rotate Jair in as a 3rd cornerback, or potentially rotate him in with Cooper. Is Michael Carter now going into the slot? Brandon Graham, his position along the defensive line, things are going to get a little complicated with trying to incorporate 3 new players into this system. And is this the right time of the year to do that? Or is Jair Alexander here for depth and depth only, 3rd down type situations, special teams, whatever? Or does he not dress? And is this trade, this one, the Michael Carter trade and the Brandon Graham signing, are they enough? Is this what's going to push the Philadelphia Eagles over the finish line in 2025? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know what you guys feel about it, because we're getting to that point. It's about to get here next week. Bye week sucks. God, thing takes forever to get through. But now we're back to business. Tomorrow night they'll start preparing, or Tuesday they'll start, Wednesday, whatever. They'll start preparing for the Packers. Have they done enough? Or is there more trades that have to be made? Do you want to see another player? Do you want to see that impact guy? It was brought up to me this morning by Mike Laro. He wanted to know where my take was on Myles Garrett. Would I mortgage the future, i.e. 3 first-round draft picks for Myles Garrett? And I thought about this question, and I've asked this question to you guys last week. It all depends on where you stand with this, right? If Myles Garrett were to be moved here and you did pull the trigger on a multiple first-round pick package over the course of the next 3 seasons, are you guaranteeing the Eagles' dominance or position within dominance over the next 3 years? I would say you are. It would greatly improve your defense. Your defensive backfield would be better, de facto, because you got pressure up front now. and you would keep yourself in that conversation of dominant football teams. But eventually, it's going to come back and bite you because you're going to lose a lot of young assets. Also, the other side of that coin, A.J. Brown, the top of the conversation a lot around these parts these days. Does he get traded? Probably not. Will he be back next year? Probably not. Things are not great. A.J. Brown, I don't think likes being here. I think A.J. wants out of here, and honestly, I don't expect to see him back next year. So what are you going to do about replacing A.J. Brown when you have limited draft picks? What are you going to do about replacing Lane Johnson when you have limited draft picks? And what are you going to do about replacing Dallas Goedert? All of these positions have to be addressed over the course of the next 2 years. And if you give up your next 3 years worth of first-round picks, what kind of position do you put yourself in to try to address those? And Saquon Barkley as well. I don't know how long you think he's going to be running. You're eventually going to have to readjust your running back situation. So this could have ramifications. This could be push all your chips into the center of the table for Howie and say, you know what? I'm going to try to stay on top of this mountain as long as I possibly can, to hell or high water about what else happens there. Or it could be a disaster. It could be an absolute disaster for this team to go there. This is a decision he'll have to make, the decision that he's going to have to live with. But what are you guys wanting? What is the decision you would live with? Are you okay with rolling with what you got and hoping that they can rub off some of that Super Bowl mojo from last year and try to make that run and hopefully the defense figures itself out? Or are you all in? You're all in, man, on the Eagles dynasty. And the last question, where do you rate Howie's offseason at this particular moment in time based on what we saw over the past 10 days? Based on the defense's performance throughout this season, was it the right plan? Hit me up whenever you're ready for your shows. Yes, again, in the perfect world, I would do that studio thing. Bills and Eagles own Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City won today or lost today. Yep, understandable. Alas, the Flyers warts beginning to show. Yeah, Steve, we talked about that last night. I had the post game. I talked about it this morning. I'm not really, the think that this was a Stanley Cup winning team based on a 6-3-1 record or 6-3-1 start. There's a lot of problems with this team, and they're all talent related. We just don't have it. I mentioned the perimeter style offense, which I hate. They never go to the net. Everything's out wide, and the defense, though, is, I think, better. I think a lot better. The way that Rick Tocchet employs them. And then Dan Vladar, 4 goals on 19 shots last night. He seems to struggle with everything from distance, and when it's elevated, he just can't seem to stop a puck, regardless if it's a clean look or not. He just has a problem with a puck that's up and out. So, yeah, I mean, I get you, Steve. I get you 100%. More constantly. Mike won me money today. Oh, Joe Hell, don't say that. Don't say it out loud. It was for entertainment purposes only. A.J. Brown is staying with the Eagles. I disagree. I think he'll stay with the Eagles this year. I agree. If that's what you're saying, I agree with you, Ricky. But I don't think much longer. I think they're gonna move on from him. I honestly do. I think things are really bad here with him. I don't think he likes being here. I really don't. Seattle beat Washington. That game's over. I'm looking at this game. It's 28-0 in the second quarter. Seattle's beating Washington. 21-0 Seattle. It's 28-0 in the second quarter. Yeah, Seattle's all over the Commanders. So the Eagles are days away from the trade deadline. And obviously, defense has been the flavor of the trades. Offense is pretty much going to stay pat, which maybe you look to try to plus up your offensive line. Offense is not the problem. The offense is what it is. If they can get Saquon Barkley going, they should be fine. Obviously, the problem has been the defense, and a defense that's been asleep since about week 4 is really the main issue. Heading into this game against the Packers, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has forced 7 turnovers. That is like 0.7 turnovers a game. But ironically, heading into the week 9 game last year against the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagle defense had accumulated 7 turnovers through 9 games. And then they went off for 5 in that game, and they ended up, I think, finishing the season out with like 31 or 33 turnovers to include 13 more in the postseason. So, I mean, are we waiting to see the defense make a re-debut? And is Jair Alexander, Michael Carter, Brandon Graham, are they going to be the pioneers of the Eagle resurgence on the defense, or are these just depth moves because we are concerned that there's no depth on this team, that the Keely Ringos, the Eps, Sidney Browns, the Jacorian Bennett's, the Dory Jacksons of the world just have not worked out. And if that's the case, that's a lot of players to say they haven't worked out. So interesting situation for the Philadelphia Eagles as they get ready for their Week 10 game against the Packers. 21-0. It's 28-0. I mean, they're putting it to the Commanders, boy. A lot of crazy games in the NFL. Yeah, Joe, let's kind of review some of those as Star Wars has been updating. This is 28-0 now, Seattle over the Commanders as they get ready to head into halftime. Earlier today, not much defense happening in this game. 47-42 Bears over the Bengals in a very entertaining game. Whenever there's 89 points scored total, it's very entertaining. Upset of the day, Vikings beat the Lions 27-24. Amazing. Another upset, Panthers 16-13 winners over the Packers. What does that do to the Packers heading into this game on Monday night? San Diego, or LA, I'm sorry, all over the Titans 27-20. It was the Patriots squeaking by the Falcons 24-23. Giants lost 34-24 to the 49ers. Another upset, Daniel Jones throws 3 interceptions. I believe there were 6 total turnovers in this game as the Steelers hang on and beat the Colts 27-20. The Broncos get by the Texans 18-15. And in overtime, the Jaguars beat the Raiders. The Saints beat the Rams, the Rams beat the Saints. And then I guess in the game of the week, the most watched game this week, it was the Bills 28 and the Chiefs 21. So a weird, wacky week. And then tomorrow you got the Ravens and the Dolphins. Well, not Ravens, Dolphins. Ravens and Dolphins was on Thursday. Tomorrow's Cardinals and Cowboys. We're wrapping up your Week 9. And everything will be reset on the board for Week 10 as the Eagles will get ready to play the Green Bay Packers. And on Thursday night at 7 p.m., that is right, we will return with the Birds Blast. Me and Kyle will come back at you with our updates. We will get you ready for the Packer game. We will also recap the Giant game and whatever moves that the Eagles make the rest of the way in the trade deadline. So make sure you're joining us here Thursday night at 7 for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. CJ Stroud got hurt. Yep, saw that. He's on my fantasy team. He's not my starter. Next week, he's going to be my starter if he can go. Went out with a concussion, I believe, right? I might have to find a quarterback. Actually, I did already put in a waiver claim for Jackson Dart because Pat Mahomes, who's my quarterback, is going to have a bye week next week. So I got to find someone to back up CJ Stroud if he can't go. So I put in a waiver claim today for Jackson Dart. Maybe I'll get him. Maybe I won't. But yeah, that's what's going on in the NFL, and that's what it's been quiet, man. I hate the bye week because it's just a real long week, not much to get excited about. But we did have baseball, and when all else in the world makes no sense, you can always turn to baseball. And yesterday, if you guys were not aware of it, a epic battle between the Blue Jays and Dodgers was ensuing up there at Skydome. I know it's not called Skydome. Rogers Center. Papernick says Seattle, they're all over them, man. 28-0 heading into the half. Maybe Washington will be a second half team. Is Mariota still going? Is Daniel still out? Mariota still at the helm there? Mike talked about this today too. He says he likes Seattle. I get it. They're playing well, but they're 5-2, looking to be 6-2, right up there with the Eagles. But whenever you got a quarterback or a team led by Sam Darnold, how excited can you really be? How confident can you really get? I mentioned it's like having Carson Wentz as your guy. And we saw Darnold last year have an amazing season and then completely fall apart in the playoffs for the Vikings. So, they're a good news story right now, but I don't know, man. Sam Darnold as your quarterback heading into the playoffs is never a good thing. Bump the Dodgers winning the series. I can't stand. I am not bummed. I got to talk about it, Papernick, because it's more than just the Dodgers, man. It's more than it's everything else about what happened over the last week. McDaniels is quarterbacking. It's McDaniels, Jaden Daniels. Who's McDaniels? Is there a new quarterback? I meant, are you meaning Jaden Daniels? So last night, I wasn't watching the World Series. Honestly, I was more interested in what was happening in the Arizona Fall League than I was in the World Series. And by the way, the surprise Cerratos, the team that the Phillies have about 5 or 6 prospects playing for. If you guys are interested, the Arizona Fall League has still got 2 weeks of baseball left. They don't play their championship game till the 15th of November. So if you're looking for baseball like I am, and I was today, and I found it, make sure you head over there, and MLB.com will stream those games to you for free. So again, it's the surprise Cerratos is what they are. They're no longer the Devil Dogs or the Scottsdale Desert Dogs. There's no longer affiliated with the Phillies. They've moved off to a different team. So that's what you want to see, the surprise Cerratos or whatever the hell they were called. But we got some prospects out there. Nobody of note. Dylan Campbell's out there. A couple pitchers. Not like last year when you had what's his name, Painter, but no Painter this year. But anyway, the World Series, you gotta tip your cap to both the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Again, this morning on the PM and the AM program, as I'm watching this thing unfold, and maybe you guys are sounding differently. Maybe you'll tell me I'm crazy, but the way that the teams were kind of going back and forth with each other, I just kept thinking that there's no way the Phillies could have done this. There's no way the Phillies could have kept up with the pace that the Dodgers and the Blue Jays were setting against each other. Now, the other side of that argument is, well, Phillies pitching had the Dodgers pretty much in check. But, yeah, it's the NLDS, right? I mean, let's get deeper into these playoffs. I guarantee the bats would have woken up at some point. And at some point, the Phillies would have had to make plays. Hell, they had to make plays in the NLDS, and they couldn't. But it was just an epic struggle back and forth between two teams. He had an 18-inning game mixed into there. I mean, come on, man. 18 innings? The game ended at like 3 a.m. That's awesome. And last night, when it mattered, when they needed it, Will Smith delivers in the extra innings, top of the 11th, gives them the lead, and they hang on. Yamamoto comes in, pitched to two innings in relief for the save. Deservedly wins the MVP of the World Series. And the Dodgers repeat for the first time, a repeat World Series champion for the first time since the 99, 2000, 2001 Yankees, or was it 98, 99, 2000 Yankees? So the first time since then, we have now a repeat World Series champion. And like it or not, folks, be into this or not, or try to talk it away or not, but we're now living in the Dodgers dynasty. This is the Dodgers dynasty. They've won 3 World Series in the last 6 years. And until proven otherwise, the Dodgers own MLB. And, you can get all pissed off. And there were some controversial calls in this series. The Blue Jay fans are all yakking about, the ball getting caught up underneath the wall there. I mean, come on, dude. You've been playing those rules since friggin' Little League. You know how that works. The ball was lodged. You kill it. That's just how it works. There's nothing really to complain about. Last night with the force play at home, I was a little gitchy, but the call in the field was out, and video evidence could not overturn it. So, I'm not saying he was safe or out because that was a situation you really had to be there. But again, when that play was happening, I was thinking Kerkering all the way. Absolutely 100%. Could Ryan Kerkering made that play? We saw him try to throw it home, but he threw it behind JT anyway. He shouldn't have thrown it home anyway. But great defense last night by the Dodgers. They just did everything they had to. And even though they were down 3-2 heading back to Toronto, I had no doubt that the Dodgers would find a way to win this World Series. They were the better team and with the better players and the more playmakers. And they proved it last night as the Blue Jays suffered a similar fate and then the 2023 Phillies with Sir Anthony Dominguez and Hoffman leading the way for the Blue Jays in those losses. So there was a little bit of sweet revenge. I know my household here was all rooting for the Blue Jays to win because we traveled up there this summer. We went to a game at Rogers Center, a Yankees Blue Jay game back on July 4th or 3rd, 5th, around there, 7th, sometime around that week. We went up there for the night. So they were rooting for the Blue Jays to win. But of course, what was in my mind was the last time the Blue Jays won the World Series. It was Joe Carter, walking it off against the Phillies. Hell no, I don't want the Blue Jays to win. Matter of fact, the way it worked out, I wish I would have been up there with a megaphone dancing around with the Phillies jersey on, saying, Joe Carter shoved this up your ass as you guys are walking out with your heads held low. I still ain't over that goddamn series. But it is what it is, and it was a great series, and I'm glad that the Dodgers were able to pull it off, and the better team won. I mean, you can sit here and hate the Dodgers all you want, but the better team won. Jane Daniels is quarterback, and it really was a great World Series. Flyers lost. Oh, so that means Mike is going to be on. Yeah, so if you guys want to head over to YouTube, listen, don't leave me here, man. It's about 20 minutes with me. Mike will be doing the Clear the Ice program. I don't know, Mike, if you're watching this, don't wait for me, man. Just go ahead and do the show, but I'm not sure if he's going to go wait or not. He doesn't have to. But if Mike is doing it, make sure you pop over and see Mike, but then come right on back because we're going to talk about some serious stuff. We are going to talk about some serious stuff right now. And that is what Game 7 meant in a nutshell to me last night. And that is this. It's over. It's friggin' over. 8 months. Gone like that. Poof. Dust in the wind. How did 8 months? How did the journey that began in February with the very first spring training game? By the way, if you guys remember this, I remember it. The first spring training game, the official first spring training game of 2025 was between who and who? And on what date? If you can tell me those three answers, I will send you a free It's a Wrap Sports t-shirt in the next 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Can't answer it. So I'm going to provide you that answer. February 25th, Dodgers and Cubs was the first spring training game. So the Dodgers ended the season and they started it. They had that honor. And I don't know where the last 8 months has gone. Baseball is the longest season of our calendar, but for some odd reason it goes by the fastest. Are you back on after Mike? I'm not going anywhere. If Mike's going to go on, we're going to go on side by side. You have to make a choice, Papernick, either me or Mike, or come back and forth. Do what you got to do. These are going to be one of the things that I'm going to have to figure out how to dance between the raindrops a little bit. How Mike will have to dance between the raindrops. Again, if Mike, you're watching, go ahead, man. Don't wait on me. But yeah, so February 25th, Dodgers and Cubs, and it ended last night. Where did it all go? How did we get to this point? And why is it here so fast? And as the Dodgers were celebrating on the field, and I was watching, I was like, what am I going to do now? I mean, I can watch Arizona fall baseball till November 15th. Then that's it. Then really there's no baseball after that. I don't have the access to the Mexican winter leagues or the Venezuelan winter leagues, and I'm not, or Dominican winter leagues. I'm not that insane when it comes to the sport. But what do I do now? Yeah, the hot stove will start, by the way, 24 hours after the World Series, which is coming up right about now. Teams can start signing their own free agents. So you might hear about a free agent or two signing here tonight. So the hot stove actually will start firing up here probably in about an hour or two. Officially is when teams can start signing their own free agents. Wednesday is when the trading window opens back up until July 30th. And then you can also start signing other free agents. So you get like a 5-day exclusive negotiating period with your free agents prior to them hitting the open market on Wednesday. And then Wednesday is also when you can start making trades until July 30th. So without clearing waivers and all that, waiver-free trades. So the offseason is here. And now the big question is, what are the Phillies going to do? And we talked about this morning. We here on this program went over this like the day after the season ended. I gave you MattyB's wish list of players that I want to see here. And we're going to now find out how much of that I was correct on and how much I wasn't. Who stays, who goes, and why. Remember that segment we did a few weeks back? I got a little risque with my 2026 lineup. I went Gabriel Raconis Jr. playing right field, Crawford in center, Bader in left. I want to go after Luis Arraez, the free agent second baseman from the Padres. I want to take Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, and Nick Castellanos and package them in the same trade deal. And I don't care who I get in return. I really don't. Give me a pitcher, give me a prospect. I don't care. But I want to take all those three players and package them in a deal together. Because I think that's the only way we're getting the hell off of Nick Castellanos with that money, even for 1 year. We gotta sweeten up the deal. And two players that are under, well, Bohm's under team control for 1 more year, but Stott is under team control for 2 more years. I think that will do it. I think a team would take him off our hands for that. So Luis Arraez goes to second, Turner at short. Otto Kemp is the opening day third baseman, and then Aiden Miller at some point, hopefully around May or June, comes up and takes over third base. Pete Alonso is my new first baseman, and Bryce Harper is my DH. So that is what basically the positions look like. Now, how much of the Phillies, I know there was a emphasis placed on the youth movement by Dave Dombrowski at the end of season press conference. How much is he actually going to do that? I don't know. Does he have the balls to actually do that? I don't know. So we'll wait and see. But that time is now. It is upon us. And 15 minutes, Mike comes on. Okay, so Joe Hale's giving you the Mike Laro clear the ice countdown here. Schwarber isn't signing with the Phillies anytime soon. And that's another thing, Papernick. And that's an interesting point you make. Was it last year that Alonso waited until almost the start of the season to sign back with the Mets? You went through Tucker was another one. Not Tucker. Was it Bregman? Was another one who waited almost to the end of spring training. Phillies can't do that, man. Phillies got to figure out what they're going to do early on because there's other situations that they got to address. So we cannot wait here the entire offseason waiting on Kyle Schwarber to make a decision. I know that's something that no one's really talking about whether or not Schwarber waits this thing out, waits to see the other high-priced dominoes in this thing fall. But I think he's kind of the highest. But is he trying to set his own market here? Is he trying to look at other contracts? I don't know. Typically, it's the other players that look at his contract and go off of that. But how does Kyle Schwarber field his offseason? Is he in a hurry to come back to Philadelphia? I'm not saying I don't think he wants to come back. I don't want him back. We got to change the DNA of this baseball club. And getting rid of Kyle Schwarber goes a long way in that. So that was my 2026 wish list. How much I'm actually going to get position-wise, I don't know. The Phillies are gonna good this up with Schwarber with the window to sign our own players, just Schwarber, if not Alonso. The Phillies are gonna good this up with Schwarber with this window to sign your own players, just sign Schwarber, if not sign Alonso. Yeah, I think that's the prevailing authority, the prevailing wins. If they don't sign Schwarber, they got to replace his power somehow, and they got to go find someone to do that. And Pete Alonso obviously is the marquee name on the market to do that. And as I said in the segment we did, I want him because he gives me more versatility than Schwarber does. I can play him defensively. He's a right-handed power bat. I don't think he's going to have a problem batting fourth in my lineup when I tell him. I don't think there's going to be an argument about leading off, any of that bullcrap. And also, it redos the mistake of the 2016 draft. Everyone forgets that. With our first overall pick, we went after Moniak, and Alonso was taken in the 4th round or something like that. We could have had Alonso in 2016, so this kind of repairs that for me. So I'm looking at this from all kinds of different angles about how to make this better. So that's what I'm looking at, and I definitely would like to have Pete Alonso here as well. I don't want Kyle Tucker as rumored. Yeah, again, I'm not breaking the bank on Tucker. I'm not breaking the bank on Bregman. And I told Mike this morning, it's time now for the young players to play on this team, like it or not. You gotta see what these kids can do. If Justin Crawford is not on the opening day roster, what the hell's going on? And Aiden Miller maybe not opening day, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't there opening day, but he needs to get his opportunity, as well as Gabe Raconis Jr. This guy's been toiling down in AAA for 3 years now. It's time to put up or shut up with these guys. Either they can do it or you get them out of here, one or the other. You can't keep them around in the minor leagues like Greg Lake and all those guys back in the day. You can't do that, man. You got to get them. You got to get them up here to play or trade them. Get rid of them. With Robbie coming back as manager, Alonso could be leading off with this. It's a good point. maybe Maybe that's part of the sales pitch when he walks through the door. Hey, you want to lead off? I don't think Alonso's that stupid. How would I want to lead off for? I'm a power hitter. I want to be batting where the RBI potential is. God damn it. But no, that's a good point too. I didn't even think of that. Kaepernick bringing something to bear here. But the season's over, man. And now I have to sit here over the next 4 months and wish and think and be optimistic and wait. And then what? 27th of March, 26th of March is when they open up against the Rangers at home. You know, it sucks, man. It sucks. And I don't know where the last 8 months went. And that's really that was like the hardest hit last night for me was what the hell happened to the last 8 months? I watched the first spring training game. I was driving to Alabama and I watched it in the car on the way down there. And then I watched, just about every Phillies spring training game. And then you get into the regular season and then poof, it's gone. And, it sucks. It sucks, man. It's like mortality hitting me, but we'll ravine and we are going to try to keep you guys up to date with our hot stove segment as we move through the off season and see how the Phillies do. And the time is now. So let's get into the of the night segment and then let's move on to our card review and then get you guys over to the Clear the Ice program. Yep, tonight's of the night is, again, focused primarily on Flyers prospects. We've been ripping through them. We're going to do another one tonight, another one of the players that doesn't necessarily clarify anymore as a prospect, but he is definitely a fan favorite here on this network, coined by our boy Sal G. It is the one and only Tony Dick, Anthony Richard, the Flyer in-betweener who was a fourth-round pick in 2015 of the Nashville Predators, currently is in Lehigh Valley. Really is maybe not a prospect, but he's definitely one of those players that you need in your organization that can come up at a minute's notice, give you quality minutes, give you some time, and then head right on back down. Never really rounded into that, I'm going to be able to stick in with the big club, but does provide a service, and we are better off for having him. But again, probably can't call him a prospect anymore, just because it's been 10 years since he's been drafted. So Anthony Richard, however you want to say it, Tony Dick, whatever you want to call him, is your Flyer prospect of the night. And again, this might be the final time you see him classified on this program as a prospect. So there you have your of the night segment. And let's get right into the final one of the night, our favorite segment. All right, it is time for MattyB's card review of the night. Tonight, we are going a very interesting card tonight that I found I actually found it over the weekend. So in this collection that I have, it's still relatively in the organizational no, it's not really early I'm getting to the end of organizing it, and it was a labored process that has taken about 1.5 years to get through all of it, well over 10,000 cards. And this weekend I did the last step in organizing the set. So the way I have it all broke down, I have cards of all 4 major sports and everything, but I don't do Pokemon and stuff like that, but sports cards. And I've taken cards and I put them in binders, the cards that I consider valuable, either through nostalgia or money, right? And the other cards are in boxes. Now they're organized inside those boxes. They're in team boxes. I have every baseball team has its own box with player cards from various years, all in there together. But those cards are not necessarily nostalgic to me, or they ain't worth anything. But in the course of separating all this stuff, you know, you get a little loopy when it comes to looking at things, and you might miss a card or two. So I dedicated myself this weekend to going back through these boxes and making sure I didn't miss anybody. And boy, I did. And I found this card in the California Angel box. And thank God I did this, because I almost let a card that could potentially be upwards into $1,000 walk out the door for $1. And I speak of the 2018 Topps baseball card. It is the Next Stop is Stardom. That's the name of the card. And here it is. It's a insert card from the 2018 set, and it pictures a rookie Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Justin Upton sitting on a golf cart. Obviously, this is at spring training. But this was part of the insert. They had these quirky little cards in 2018 with these sayings, and they featured players throughout the year. And this was one of their cards, and this happens to be one of the hotter ones in the set, obviously. When everything you can get a Shohei Ohtani rookie on a baseball card, and then you factor him in there with Mike Trout, obviously this card is going to shout value. And right now, this card is up and down the spectrum, anywhere between $150 on the high end to about $20 on the low end. It's pretty much going for, and different various forms of this card. And it almost walked away from me for $1. And thank God I was able to catch it. So this is a really cool card. And again, you know, the buck stops with the pictures of the players, and the players that are pictured here. You're looking at potentially 2 Hall of Famers in Trout and Ohtani. You're also looking at the best player in the league right now in all of baseball in Ohtani. And he's a rookie at the time. So this card is extremely valuable, both not for nostalgia. I could care less about the card itself, but this definitely has some potential serious money attached to it. It's the base version of the card. It comes in different refractor variants as well. But this is a base card, the one that I have as well. And again, anywhere between currently right now, $150 on the high end to about $20 on the low end. And I almost let it walk out the door for $1 because I didn't know it was in the dollar box until I went through these boxes this weekend and I found it. So good catch on my part to get that card. It's a pretty cool looking card. Again, Ohtani jumps right out at you, obviously, and so does Trout. Yes, Joe, the phone lines will be open tomorrow. I got to make sure I get them right off the bat. Joe, you're lagging, man. You're supposed to hit me like 2 minutes into the show. Anyway, here's the card in itself right there. It's physical form. Pretty cool card. And again, right now it's about $150 on the high end. So for a base card, and there you have it. I mean, what a find. It's almost like finding a treasure in the ground. So I was able to make sure to have that good stuff. And you got to do what you got to do. So there's your card of the night. We've now completed the show. Did your Flower Prospect of the Night segment, and of course our day in Philadelphia sports history, and all the great things that have led up to this point on a quiet weekend. Recapping some Flyers, recapping some baseball, and talking a little bit about the Eagles as they get ready for the Monday night game against the Packers, and the bye week is finally over. So Mike Belize will be on the Happy Valley. We'll see. I'll talk to him. Can't keep changing it, man. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed our 9 o'clock. I don't know what I'm doing myself. Oh my God, it's only 10. I'll get to bed at a decent hour tonight. But this is where we're going to be pretty much until the spring at the 9 o'clock hour. Make sure you guys are checking out any changes. It's going to be interesting to navigate in between these post-game shows. I'm not used to doing that, so you have to give me some time. But we'll do our best with it. And please stay tuned to the network. We are under a little bit of a change right now. And we are going to modify some things, as I said earlier in the program. So just be looking out for those changes. But we were going to have a meeting at some point, I think on Wednesday, and we're going to discuss all this. So we'll be coming back to you with more details as soon as we know them. You guys have a great rest of your night. Make sure you're checking out Clear the Ice. I believe is happening right now. So we will talk again tomorrow. You guys take care.